required in this country. On the contrary, I want the technology community to take note of the requirements of the society in the sphere of dharma and how this is relevant. So this is from the other angle and perspective I am talking about. And we start with our salutation to our Sadguru Shri Ganapati Sachidananda Swamiji. Dattatreya Samarambham Nrasimhadika Madhyamam Sachidananda Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. He continues to use the latest and most modern technologies to disseminate the essence of dharma in very simple terms. That is the reason we admire him for the initiative. The next aspect is the intentional deployment of technologies. I will just narrate one line from Vedavyasa, who is one of the most important figures in the entire. The Vedavyasa's regime, his genesis, and the genesis of all the Kauravas and Pandavas are also a matter for further exploration in terms of stem cell development. Now, what Vedavyasa has said is very relevant for everyone to understand, because we have the AI on one side, stem cell technology on the other side, and most of the scientific establishment are actually funded by many people who have their interests vested elsewhere. So in light of this, what should be right and what should be wrong? Tapona kalkaha, adhyajananna kalkaha, swabhaviko veda vidhirna kalkaha, prasahya vittapaharananna kalkaha, tanyeva bhavopahatani kalkaha. Kalkaha means fault, a sin. He starts with that doing penance is not a sin. Who said that? Adhyajananna kalkaha, serious studies are also not a sin. Prasahya vittapaharananna kalkaha, vittaharananna kalkaha. We are fine with all the positive aspects, but he also says that just usurp someone's properties or someone's assets, that is also not a sin. Then what are you going to make out? What is your point? Tanyeva bhavopahatani kalkaha. Now let us take an instance for all of these things. Tapaha means penance. What happened to the tapas? What was the outcome of the rigorous penance, the serious studies that were undertaken by Ashwathama? What was the end result? He has hurled all sorts of weapons at the normal citizens, which caused destruction or would have caused a lot of destruction. And the second one is Veda Vidhihi, Swabhaviko Veda Vidhihi. The regular Vedic studies are also not sin. When would they become a sin? If your intentions are not clear, if they are not pure. Prasahya vittapaha vittaharanam, just usurping someone's duties, someone's assets, that is also not a sin, he said. What does that mean? What is the enforcement directorate doing in this country today? They are attaching many properties. The courts are also ordering the seizure of many assets. If that is sin, the courts and the government is also doing another very interesting analogy. In our childhood, we were prevented from looking at the killing of insects. The lizards or some of the creatures, they consume other insects. They said, no, don't look at it. Look at them. We were just little curious about why are we being prevented. Because that is their jati dharma. That is natural to them to consume others. But by looking at someone's negative traits or their positive traits, whatever they are, if they are not relevant to you, you will also develop the sense of some cruelty. Now just you analyze the crime records which are happening, and most of the fugitives who were mass murderers And even in the, you can see the shootouts in various countries that are happening. If you just look at the traits, from Tom and Jerry, if you start with it, and if you just expand the reach, you will see the sense of violence being inculcated in very small toddlers. You say the harder you punch, you will get. And the number of torture scenes in your today's movies and amputating each of these limbs, they are all graphic violence. They are all becoming part of the technology, which is actually being some sort of spoiler or a slow poison to the society. Therefore, the deployment of the technology should have some sort of oversight from the perspective of dharma. That is the point I would like to manage. So therefore, we have to also consider the pros and cons while we evaluate the upsides and downsides of this mammoth elephant in the drawing room, that is the technology without which we can't survive. Having said this, the technology can be deployed in several productive areas of our society. In this presentation, I would draw your attention to a few things which you are already experiencing. Many of us are experiencing it. The learning and teaching of our scriptures and several of the stotras, the Sanskrit, the languages. Here, the Upadesha model is being totally ignored. Why is the Upadesha was so important? Esha Adesha, Esha Upadesha. If it is just recorded message, we could have asked all of these esteemed scholars to send their presentations. Why do we require all of them to get together? Why do we need them to assemble? Why do we need a physical interaction? Because the neurons that are generated here, they have some immense and intrinsic value. And the Upadesha has its own effect. Though the sound is being produced in the speakers, that easily that can't be replicated to what is produced by a human who is doing the same thing. So we had come across some of the experiments which are given by the biomedical department, and if I remember, it was Rama Jayasundar, I think. She had conducted the same experiment of playing the recorded sound of Gayatri Mantra and the live play and the time and the way it is produced and it is actually recited. So there is a difference. Therefore, the actual Upadesha cannot be replaced by long range, long distance teaching of Veda mantras. That is the reason that should be dissuaded. But of course, the explanatory parts where the sound has very little value other than conveying your feelings, there we don't have any objection. So therefore, the time-tested learning management system can be deployed to some extent and disposed in other sections. Wherever the mantra upadesha is concerned and mantra ucharana is concerned, it is always better to have the direct delivery. Okay. The next one is even more interesting for a religious crowd or academic crowd. The cross references are very important. If I just take the first line, Jagato Jagato Ramo Dharma Marmagya Samrat, Jagato Jagato Kausalya Asuto Veda Vartma. It's very easy. And it's easy to understand also. But if you are little more indulgent, then you would want to know how to separate these words. Now we have the JavaScript and several technologies. If you just hover over that particular text, you should get the Pada Vibhaga, how to separate them. Because Samskrita language word separation is not that easy. You need to be trained for that. And Anvaya Krama, the Chandas, the poem and prose, they are totally different. In the prose, you can place the words as you like, but in poem, the chandas has to be maintained. Therefore, the Anvaya Krama would play a lot of great role in understanding the sentence. Then we have the compound words which are called as samasas. They are also important. And Vishesha Artha, the special meanings that can be interpretation value So we can provide these facilities for many of the shlokas and that would endear. And IIT Kanpur has actually done a very good job about Bhagavad Gita and some of the Ramayana works. That can be expanded taking the model from it. And I will talk about the commercial aspect of the commercial value of the same enterprise at a later point of time. So this is the second one, the cross references about this thing. The third one is Anuvada. Most of the technology companies that are extending their services, be it Meta, that is Facebook, or Google, Alphabet, Apple, they have already started monumental work in the Anuvada model. But you know how miserably they fail in giving a simple sentence and their purport in other languages. We get all mismatching results. So therefore, the multilingual translation, it has to be enabled. It has to be enabled by the model of construction itself. So this, though it is not the main topic, I would like to highlight one aspect of what I mean by vocabulary construction. In Sanskrit, we have got the stem root verb, which is called as the dhatu. Shakatayana Acharya says, Sarvam dhatu jamaha shakatasya tokaha. The entire construct of the language of Samskrita is based on the root verbs. So therefore you take 1980 dhatu and then we start attaching the Krit Pratyaja model for this. The Krit Pratyajas will produce the first set of root words which we call as Pratipadika. That is the base word. Then what happened? If you just add one suffix of Krit Pratyaja, we have got 2000 words which are readily available. And the prefixes are the beauty of the language once again. Praviparapa samanvavadirnisau durati dushprati sodadhi paryapi tadanuchangabhini upavimshatihi trisahitet dvisahitet kyupasarga samashriga. There are 22 prefixes. If you add each of these prefixes, we will have 22 into 2000. So that is where we are crossing already 42,000. Why are these prefixes are important? In all the Indian languages, I will just give you one example of this thing. Prahara, what does it mean? Hit. Samhara is to kill. Vihara is to just take a joyride. Upahara is gift. Ahara, food. Abhyavahara, complete food. Upahara, light food. So similarly, we have got the constructs. So this is almost approximately 42,000 you have. And again, you have got the Krit Pratyajas, which are at least 120. So that would already run into lakhs. And then we have got the Subanta scheme, that is the words generation. So then similarly, if you just add the construct model, take the meaning aspect into account, then you have the perfect translation in several Indian languages extending to more than 6.5 crores. So these many words can be utilized. So what is required for the LLM can be generated by the Sanskrit construct once you have the purport of the entire thing. So you are having the entire vocabulary at your on your fingertips so that you can further develop. And this is the Pada Shastra that I am talking about. The second one would be the Vakya Shastra. Getting the meaning of the word is not important and not sufficient actually. Once you put it in the right perspective, then only you know what exactly is meant by that. For example, in the English language, we have got one word called set, S-E-T, set. And the linguists say that it has 127 derivative meanings. One word set, in tennis it means something, in hotel it means something, and in technology it means something. So they have got derivative meanings. So we have to put them into right perspective. So that is the second one, Vakya Shastra. The third one is the Pramana Shastra, which we call as Tarka Shastra. So the way you analyze each of these words with the help of various constraints and conditions that is dealt by the Pramana Shastra. So therefore, the LLM model and artificial intelligence can be perfectly leveraged to understand. So therefore, the Anuvada would be complete. I'll just give you the contextual interpretation for one example. Yeah. What you see, it's a horn. What you see is a flame. Shrunga means a horn in the context of cattle. But when you talk about Chatvari Shrunga Trayo Askapadaha, there the context is actually the flame. But when you take the Vishesha Artha, here the Chatvari Shrunga is nothing but Shrunga also stands for Veda. So when our Balasudhakara Shastri was talking about how to interpret the Veda, it is very simple to say this. But once Ramagopala Rao wants to introduce a course on this, it has to be codified. How do you do this? Do you do this by intuition or do you do this by trial and error method? How exactly are you going to derive on this particular topic? And Mantra Shastra says the same thing about something. And Agni, the way the word is generated, there are 12 types of derivative meanings which are given in the Nirukta Shastra. So which one are you going to take? And how are they applicable to the current context? So that contextual interpretation and references, this is where we are going to make much of the progress with the deployment of the right technology and right designation. And next one is the commercial potential of these Swadharma services. They are immense and it runs into billions of dollars because we always talk about the Christian donations that are flowing into this country. But actually we don't realize the power of the economy which is based on the dharbik section, the religious activities of, because most of them have some sort of religious association or some dharbik roots. So if we just leverage on these things, it would always be profitable because we are in the startup country right now and there will be multiple options available. And there is very little competition. That's the key point here. So how do we start? If you need a simple service, you don't know who is an authentic person, who is an authorized, perfectly trained person, you don't know whom to ask, whom to call. So that's one thing. So the list of authorized, qualified persons, so providing the directory is the first stage. So we can say that if you want to run a temple, you say that, okay, Archaka, one who does the puja, Pachaka, who actually prepares the food. And the third one is managers who will manage those enterprises, and the staff, the teachers for your schools, especially the Veda Pathashalas, Archaka training programs, and the caretakers. These are all some of the important aspects. And the next one is, if you need many articles in the society and in the metros especially, it's very difficult to get all the materials that are required for that particular event. So therefore, the supplies of these materials as a kit, that would be a wonderful, some sort of say Amazon kit or something. The e-commerce potential is definitely there, whereby even the practitioners would also get. And the second one is the ERP solutions that are required for various organizations to thrive. How many are available? We have got just one or two, which are also not fully meeting the requirements. So this is something we can have the how to found an institution, how to found a temple, how to found an organization, and how to construct a building, and what are the running operations, what are the assets that are maintained, and how are the accumulations happening, and how do we manage the staff. So this is one aspect. The next one would be the CRM. That's even more important. You have got several devotees who are being the contributors, the founding members. They are hardly acknowledged by these services. So the continuous engagement, that is a business proposition that can be extended to this area as well. The next one is knowledge spread. The video technology that we have that can live translate or transcribe the texts. If you have the beautiful talks on various aspects, especially regarding the dharma, we don't have an effective technology to provide the transcription services. So the Kacha version, the abstract version is provided by YouTube, but that does not cover everything. So there some innovation can be definitely made. The next one is the webinars. We have got the TV channels leading most of the efforts in conducting several debates. When should I conclude? What is time now? Okay. So the webinars that could be telecast from various stakeholders by having meaningful debates. And the next one is even more important, that is defining the standards. The materials that you are using for various pujas, they don't have a specific standard. And most of you might have heard about the sandal powder that is available in the market. Is there at least a gram of sandalwood in that? No, just the color. And the sindoor that is available in the market, that is actually oxidized lead powder, which is highly carcinogenic. And most of the Hanuman devotees, they said, okay, you have to apply out on this thing. And we don't know the after effects of it. And there is no standards that are actually defined. So therefore, the definition of material sciences, especially in taking each of these products and giving the minimum standards of each of them, would be very much required. The next one is standardizing the services that are available, and the last one would be the recommendation for users. The certification from manufacturers such as BIS, FSSA. Similarly, for all the dharmic products, we can have such as the Arshadhatu or some other Bharjiviti. Okay, we have analyzed these products and they conform to the standards given by the Shastras and they are safe. All humans can use them for topical use or something. So such sort of certification would be very much required. And the certifications for the service providers is also very much required so that we have a minimum standard. And the next one is the application of AI for simply 3 things. If you have a question, okay, we can answer these questions by getting the networked institutions and various scholars who are catering to that particular question. We can have the information which is summed up on a particular page. And if you need any service, okay, we can provide that. And if you need any material or kit for any of these events, that can be provided. So that the technology groups and the scientific research groups can put their thoughts together and give something which is relevant to the society in the dharmic sphere. And I urge all of you to think broad, think big, and think biz, but make it affordable for everyone. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ganapati Garu, for your valuable speech. I would like to request our session chair, Ram Gopal Rao Garu, to felicitate Ganapati Garu. I request my team to help serve with the felicitation. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We'll move to our next topic, which is Roadmap to Bridge Gap Between Sanatana and Sunutana by our Dr. ABS Sastri Garu. It's a great privilege to introduce a visionary in the realms of Vedic scholarship and modern science, Dr. Ramanchi Balasudhakar Sastri Garu, founder and director SriVT. Dr. Sastri Garu is a distinguished Vedic scholar renowned for his profound expertise in Nadi Jyotisha and his remarkable contributions to translating Sanskrit texts and validating ancient scripts. Beyond his scholarly achievements, Dr. Sastri is the founder trustee of Sri Datta Lalitambika Mandir and director of MS Arshadhatu Green Nanotechnologies, a global leader in sustainable manufacture of nanomaterials. Through his pioneering work, Dr. Sastri Garu continues to inspire the scientific community and revolutionize the landscape of material science and technology. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Hybiz Sastri Garu, whose contributions to both ancient wisdom and modern science are nothing short of extraordinary. Please, sir, welcome.
Thank you. To keep in the view of time, I will try to complete in a short time. Just as I given some introduction about the journey of SriVT in the morning session, now my talk is on, it's my view, how to, is a roadmap, as I am assuming and I am just prepared a plan, how to go or take it forward this one. Actually, everyone says, if you see the Yashodhara quotation, how the ancient sciences were well defined and well executed. So, whatever I learned from experts or my gurus, I confirm by experimentation only that I have included in this book. Whatever could not be confirmed has not been included by book. That is the commitment and how they have done the science and experiments and how they authored the books. So this is authoritative of Indian science and technology. No need to say so many times, as we have already proven the science and technology inherited in our ancient knowledge. So, everyone, the concept that the entire universe is like a single coin with two domains. Everyone should understand that there is no difference between materialism and spiritualism. Both are same, interdependable, interconnectable, two sides of the single coin. Where science ends, there spirituality starts. So we have to deeply understand that first you know what is what. Spiritual is an inner sense. Every scientist, their lab, research, everything comes from your inner side, not from your outer mind. So this is what we call as spiritualism. You have that energy. That energy, it can't be visible, but that energy is we can call it spiritualism. So then materialism, really in physical reality, all your ideas, when it became to some shape, we call it physical or some material or some component or whatever it is visible. So, as per Vedas, there is no confusion. They divided into only two domains, that is matter and energy. Even modern scientists also agree with this. This is Padartha. Padartha is Stavara and Jangama, movable and immovable. And energy will be in two forms, that is Jyotir Brahma and Shabda Brahma. This is light waves and sound waves. Other than this, if something is there, please let me know. Definitely this is my observation. Other than this, nothing is in the universe. As I explained this, what is the curriculum in ancient India? Now we are saying some subjects in so many universities are teaching so many subjects. Now, surprisingly, each subject divided into specialized subjects. Chemistry divided into so many subjects. Physics divided into so many subjects. But in ancient India, the Samhitas are 10, the master courses, and Shastrani, Dvatrimsati, 32 Shastras are there, and Kalas, that is practices, 64 Kalas are there, and Vidyasthanani, of education was in the ancient Gurukulas. More than 6 lakhs Gurukulas were in India, Bharat, before 8 centuries back. So we have to know about ourselves. Here, metallurgy, how to interpret it. Dr. Vamshi Krishna Ghanapati, now he said about the interpretation of Veda. There are 2 ways. We are working Arsha Vijnana. This is Arsha Vijnana for this subject. There is no Vyakarana, nothing is there. Complete technical terminology, how to prepare a material or how to prepare a component. So the interpretation of this Arsha Vijnana is only based on the identifying certain materials, certain herbs, certain minerals, whatever it is. Then process development. The method of these process methods, how to build up. So, Mayura Griva Sankasham. Here I have to say this one word. Already all these years when I was doing this research, everything in what they have said, I have a thought, and when I have seen the Vishnumurti photo at my house in the puja room, suddenly I got idea that Vishnumurti is blue color. In Rasha Shastra, every material has again synonyms. Every synonyms, again there are God's names, what we are devoting now. So Vishnumurti is copper sulfate. Neelavarna. So Arka, Samudra is there, but Kshira Samudra. Kshira in Rasha Shastra, Kshira bole to yeki meaning, that is Arka Kshira. Arka Kshira. Arka means what you call Jilledu. Kalau. Yes. So in Rasha Shastra, anywhere in Ayurveda, if they mention the Kshira, that is only Arka Kshira. So Arka Kshira, Kshira Samudra, Arka Kshira, Mahavishnu, copper sulfate, Naga, Adisesha is, Naga means lead carbonate, and Lakshmi is serving. Lakshmi is Manishila. This is gold formula for your information. This is gold formula. How our Maharshis visualize, how they have given Rupadhyana Ratnavali. Everything is science. We have to put our mind, we have to involve in the science. Everything they have given is a treasure of trove. So we have to understand this shloka, Mayura Griva Sankasha. I think some senior fellows may know Professor Dongre from BHU. He's a metallurgist. Almost not BHU. Coinist. Okay. Indologist. Okay. I'm correcting myself. That's why Professor Dongre, I heard about him, I read about him, about his works. He prepared one yantra also, that is based on Vaimanika Shastra. And he wrote somewhere to become to know this meaning of Mayuragreva. He spent almost few years. I wrote his, but I don't know, after some time. When I was Mayuragreva, immediately I got some thought. What Vamsi is saying, this is not possible by learning. Intuition is also very essential. And Guru Anugraha is also essential. Mayuragreva is nothing but copper sulfate. I immediately within I have tried copper sulfate and I got this. This is the nano copper formula. If you read this shloka, you cannot understand that this is a formula of nano copper. But this is only interpretation. This nano copper, just you see the testing results. Even any nano material will get oxidized at certain temperatures. But you see, my nano copper, what I prepared, even some degree, you see the very individual particles of nanomaterial, that is temimes, and you see the purity, that is semimes, 100 complete CU, no other peaks, and sizes you see as per PSA around 10 nanometers. And surprisingly, when we have tested it AFM, even 800 degrees centigrade, the nano size retained at 45 only. That is the beauty, that is the greatness of using nanomaterials. Why I am saying all this? This is one more. When modern scientists doing nanomaterials, this is what their limitations and how costly and what is my process, a CVT process. You can see the comparative table. This is not scalable in modern labs, but I used to actually how it is happened, I don't know. That is nano copper. Professor B.S. Murthy, when he came to my institute, I am drying copper material on the newspaper in the sunlight. He came, he saw, he get interested. Sir, this copper is very fine, like flowing. Can I have taken 2 grams? Murthy Garu, you take all 2 kgs. I don't know, I will prepare again. He has taken some 50 grams, 100 grams. After 3 days, at that time, we both are Nishacharas. At that time, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, he called me. Shastri Garu, this is nano copper. What we are struggling for a long time, because copper is nature. Copper nature is immediately get oxidation. So how you are drying in the sunlight? No oxidation is there, no agglomeration is there. So that is just one more thing. Just I would like to share with the scientific authentication of our processes. That's all. And this is simple plant extract, copper sulfate and nano copper. Single step process for the nano copper. Only single step. Why I am using, this is a single step process, 0 carbon, economical, by 1/10, energy efficient by 1/1000, long life. I have here, we have displayed our nanomaterials. Actually, nano copper I made 7 years back, nanomaterials. Recently checked for extraordinary purposes. All nanomaterials, I have not using any special conditions, just bottle and cup. But still, recently we have conducted extraordinary, the same results are coming. So that is the beauty. And one more thing I would like to say, there is a lot of development in modern sciences, number of technology. But I would like to say here, I would not say, suggesting science should be science and technology should reach our necessities, but science and technology should not create necessities. What I would like to say. Always when we are growing science and technology, we are creating more and more, inventing more and more, everything is more and more. So will it be useful to us or not? So you can see all technologies were well authored in our ancient sciences. You can see some I have given. I have collected more than 400 technological series, and I have the gist of all technological series also I prepared. So integration of ancient Indian sciences and modern Indian sciences. Only I request, science has no boundaries. So scientists should not have any boundaries. I request modern scientists, please accept. If it is correct, encourage. If it is not correct, try to correct them. Everything is not possible because this science is not well documented. Because as Vamshi said, it should not go to the misusers. That's why they all kept in a language. And all these technologies are now what globe is seeing for sustainable technologies. All are this is awareness and advocacy, resource allocation and support, policy and leadership. These are the main things now this research should require. Otherwise, what will happen? A one man or one institute cannot achieve so many things. For each shloka interpretation, I used to take minimum 6 months because I have to interpret it, I have to identify, I have to procure, I have to make trial and error and all those things. So these a roadmap. First of all, we have to join hands. Only one science is there. Don't deviate. And this ancient science and modern science, I believe from today onwards, we have to call it only one science. That is one science and one globe. All these sciences are in timely introduced by so many people, so many branches of sciences. But science is common. This is the literature today, activity flow, process flow chart, process experiments, characterization, modern adaptability and engineering, optimization, scale up, application sets, publication patterns, tool design, and commercialization. If we take it forward, definitely there will be no boundaries between, compound walls between Vedic sciences and modern sciences. So here, role of academia I have given. So academic institutions all institutions come forward to how just Ram Gopal Rao is suggesting me. Definitely we will plan one certificate course like that academia. and R&D institutes where some problems are there. Definitely we are here to address. We have to completely, this is nation interest. We have to think only interest of nation, not personal. And the industrial sector, commercializing the, as morning Satish Reddy said, how to commercialize all these technologies. And expected outcomes are like this, because this is the enhanced innovation, global competitiveness, sustainable development, and economic growth. These are interdependable. So cultural preservation, holistic education, healthcare advancements, and strengthen the national identity. This is the very important point. This is our identity. So we have to safeguard. You are all the next generation, future Indian soldiers. So integrated network framework for science and technology, seamless integration for universal recognition. These are the important points we have to go. And elevating the status of Indian knowledge systems, coordination, interconnectivity, and strategic platforms. So due to time problem, I'm just closing my speech. A national mission for what a suggestion, what government has to do. Government has started one national mission for science and ancient science and technology. Our national NRF, National Research Fund is there. They have to give inclusion of national education policy. Actually 2020 NEP is very similar to this idea. Public-private partnerships. Everything cannot be done by government. So individual institutes, everyone come forward. Thank you. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you, Sastry Garu, for your valuable speech. I would like to request our session chair, Ramropal Rao Garu, to present the memento and shawl to Sastry Garu. I request my team to help with the felicitation. Thank you, sir. Now we'll be moving to our last